Hello everyone and welcome to today's presentation for WordPerfect Office X5 from Corel. My name is Don Grease. I am the Manager of Sales and Business Development here at Lifeboat Distribution, and we are a proud distributor of Corel business software. And so it is a privilege for Lifeboat to host today's presentation, and I want to thank you all for attending this webinar. Through today's presentation, you will be pleased to learn about the feature-rich, elegant business solutions Corel offers users of business productivity software and a powerful value proposition for your customers. I know your time is valuable, so let me get right to the introductions for our main panelists. Joining me on the panel today from Corel is Jason Larock, Corel's WordPerfect Product Manager, Christina Desforges, Account Manager for Channel Sales for Corel, and Evelyn Watts, Manager of Field Services for Corel. Thank you all for your participation and welcome. Before I turn the presentation over to our main panelists, I want you to know that we do encourage you to ask questions, and you may do that at any time by entering your questions in the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of the screen. At the conclusion of the presentation, we will answer as many questions as time permits. And so with that, let me turn the presentation over to Jay.
All right, thanks, Don. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for attending. As Don said, I'm Jay Larock, Director of Office Productivity for Corel, and in the next 50 minutes, between Evelyn and I, we're going to take you through an introduction and demonstration of WordPerfect Office. I'm going to start with a few slides that should take me between 10 and 20 minutes, depending on how verbose I get. And then after that, Evelyn will drop into a demo that will probably cover everything that I forget to tell you in my slides. With that, though, let's take a step back and talk about not WordPerfect specifically, but the general productivity market itself. So if you have been looking at the market, you'll have been hearing a number of things from Google and from Microsoft, and those folks are going, going more to the web. We think as a long-term trend that the web is definitely important, but docs are still most important to the customers that we are targeting together. And I use this chart to try to frame what I mean when I say that. So if you look at the vertical axis, the y-axis, when you think of communication importance, how important is the communication I'm trying to get to somebody? If it's low importance, whether it's low or high importance. And on the horizontal axis, how many people am I trying to touch? How many users? Is it one or is it many? And based on where you are on that axis, it will change on how you want to communicate. So, for example, if I'm going to have dinner reservations set up with the folks here, Christina and Evelyn, that might be an IM or an email, something quick that we can work together. So that's clearly in this bottom left zone of the chart where the communication importance is, it's not going to be misunderstood, and it's only to a few people. Whereas if I'm doing a presentation to you good folks, I'm talking to a lot of folks, and depending on how I communicate with you, will reflect on potentially sales or other things that's very important to me. I definitely have a preference of how I want to communicate to you. So that communication is something that I want to have the fidelity good so that the message is rich and you can understand it. I want to have the compatibility that you're able to view it, be high, so that, again, you can understand my message, and I need the good tools to be able to create that and craft that message to you. So I want a solution that provides those three key functionalities. And that's where you're going to need a full Office suite. You're not going to do that on the web. You're not going to do that with very light tools. You need a very heavyweight tool to do that. And you'll also notice if you do take a look at the market, the players are lining up on this spectrum. So, you think of Microsoft and their Office, they're definitely in the upper right-hand quadrant, as is WordPerfect Office. Other tools are on the lower end. So we have a product called Corel Office, which is a lighter weight Office tool that definitely fits down more in the center to the bottom left of this whole spectrum of Office suites. It's capable Office suite, but it doesn't provide the high-end formatting and control that you need if you're crafting a very formal message. But that all being said, we still believe the best of the web is important as well, and what we've tried to do is blend the best of the web with what you have on your desktop. And memory's cheap, processors are cheap, allowing you to do the things that you want richly on your desktop or your portable laptop are important, but connect to the web when you want services from the web that make sense. And I'll explain that more when we talk about X5 specifically. Let's talk about WordPerfect Office in general. We are the leading alternative to Microsoft Office. We have millions of users, and among those users that we've announced that are public domain are folks like the Department of Justice, the U.S. courts, so we're very strong in legal, certainly. The SCC, the FTC, really any three-letter acronym for government, we're probably there. Why we think we've been able to be successful with those folks are that we offer all the tools of Microsoft and more. So the suite has a word processor in it, a spreadsheet, presentations, application, and then depending on the particular variant of product you buy, you will get other capabilities, including an email client, database as well. And where we think we do more, a good example of that is probably PDF, where inside of the suite we will export PDF out of all the three apps natively from within the suite. We'll actually import PDF into WordPerfect itself, and we've added other capabilities around the suite. So, that's one example of areas where we think we deliver even more for the same, for less than Microsoft offers in terms of pricing. And that's why we've been successful with our users who are very passionate about WordPerfect Office. Every launch, I go through a cycle where I go out and survey current users and find out who's satisfied with it and why they're not, if they're not, but find out who's satisfied. In the latest survey we did, 91% of our consumers were satisfied with WordPerfect, and 94% of our SMBs were also satisfied or very satisfied with the suite as well. So a lot of people who really love the suite, which is great for us and good validation of the work that we're doing. And why we think we'll continue being successful going forward is really around the bottom of that chart, where as we've seen the average PC decline, average PC price decline in the last 5-10 years, that's going to continue. As that continues, if you're paying $500 for your naked hardware, you're going to look for, you're not going to want to pay $500 for a Microsoft Office suite. You're going to look for alternatives. And if you look at sort of who's dominating the alternative market space, it clearly is WordPerfect Office, and this is based on NPD data. Where of the non-Microsoft market, we're in the high 90%, 90% plus of the non-alternative to Microsoft, or in the alternative to Microsoft space. So expect to continue that sort of market progression that we've seen in the last couple of years, and certainly this year was quite successful for us in that space as well. And that's a little bit about sort of the suite in general. Starting to talk about WordPerfect Office X5 and what we've done here. Really, our focus was on sort of building on our strengths of why our customers love us. They depend on us. They depend on us to do their mission-critical work, and that's why we're in some of those larger government accounts. We're loved there because it allows them to be productive. But I think one of the biggest things about the suite is its adaptability. Certainly, some of the bigger players, and Microsoft is one there, it makes you work their way to get things done. With WordPerfect, we have a number of tools, whether they're legacy or new, that allow you to control how you create your documents and put the tools at your fingertips that allows you to get things just done and doesn't get in your way, but allows you to be as productive and create those rich communications that you want to get done and make that easy as possible, so that if you're communicating formally, that you can do that relatively easily. And to dive deeper into X5 specifically, where we focused on were 4 key areas. And you'll probably reflect back to my first slide, which was talking about the market and what you had to do to be successful to create that message to someone else. So compatibility, making sure people can understand your message no matter what they're on. We call it file format freedom. Take the worry out of a user's hands of new formats or new OSs. Just say, you know what, we're going to take care of you. So we wanted to make sure that we worked on the latest OS, Windows 7, and provided some enhancements there, as well as working with Microsoft Office. In the last couple of years, they've created a couple different format variants, OXML, and then there's ODF Camp, which also created its own format. Our net message to the customer is, don't worry about those changing sort of standards and changing formats. We'll take care of that for you. You just have file format freedom from X5. second key area was when it's more than a page. So longer docs have always been a sweet spot for WordPerfect Office if you talk to any of our users. But it's also the fact that it's not just a page of work or a multi-page document. It's a page of your work, and you want to be able to create your message and craft your message and make that available to other users very easily and very elegantly. So we focused as a second pillar on that as well. Third is more tools that make life easier, and that's not we have added other things into the box, if you will, so that you don't have to shop around for other tools. The big example in X5 is Nuance PaperPort. We've bundled a version of that in, and I'll talk about that, and hopefully everyone will show that in the demo, or have time to show that in the demo. But it's not just providing those in the box as extra value tools instead of going out and paying $79 for that. You get that for free with the suite, but it's also integrating those extra tools in so you have a seamless workflow for the user, that it makes it easier for them to access and work with these tools to get their value out and to create their right message. And then finally, just hitting the right price, being the right value play in the marketplace. Jump to the next slide. And now what I'm going to do is go deeper in each of those areas and talk about what we did in X5 in terms of enhancements for you. So in terms of compatibility, the file format freedom, we now support OXML, which is Microsoft's latest format, in and out of the suite inside of the 3 applications. So whether it's a Word document, an Excel document, or a PowerPoint document, if someone saves them in old formats, which are the binaries .doc, or they save them in the new format .docx, we're able to import those, and we're also able to export those out of our suite. So if you're working with Microsoft Office users, especially with the enhancements we did in the third bullet, you're able to seamlessly work with those folks and pass documents back and forth. Other thing we did was work with Windows 7. So we run on Windows 7, so the latest operating system that seems to be getting a lot of traction in our marketplace with people we've talked with. But we have gone further to provide optimization. So if you have like a touch screen, you're able to use that with our apps inside the suite. So if you have a deck of slides like I have in front of me, I'm able to drag and drop those with my fingertip rather than using a mouse or a pen. So that's where that's the enhancements to compatibility in WordPerfect Office X5. In terms of when it's more than a page, so again, it's a page of your work, and you want to be able to create and offer documents as easily and as seamlessly as possible. Additions there we've added are, and this probably again harkens back to page 1 where I said the web's important. There's a lot of data out there, and you want to be able to get access to that data and share that data with others. We're what I call a first-class citizen on SharePoint in this version X5. So SharePoint is a server tool. It's a Microsoft server tool for sharing documents, and so it started out sort of as a high enterprise, what I'd call a larger enterprise play. If you have documents and you're collaborating with other people, it's a repository that will allow you to check in or check out documents, make comments on them, and work with others in your work group very seamlessly and very easily. What we're seeing is with Microsoft's newest offering of SharePoint, they're starting to drive that down into smaller organizations to even to the high number of single-digit seats, so 1 to 9 seats, 2 to 9 seats, where you're collaborating with other people or you're working with other people. So we're starting to see this sort of go down to the lower tiers. With WordPerfect Documents now, we can kick off a document workflow integrated with SharePoint, so you can collaborate with other people just like you would inside of Microsoft Word. So pretty excited about that. And I'll probably talk about the third bullet as well, because there is a lot of data on the web or inside of organizations. You can now, inside of WordPerfect itself, be able to avail yourself of those web services, whether it's creating a revenue summary from data inside of your SAP system or another sort of hard-coded system inside of your enterprise, or even going to the web and grabbing the latest movie data and creating a flyer of movie times at a local theater next to a coffee shop. we have that ability inside of WordPerfect itself to basically go grab data at real time, assemble it into a document, so that instead of having to type that stuff in yourself or find it, scrape it, and try to type it in, we can actually grab that data and auto-populate it inside of a WordPerfect form, for lack of a better word. So it's really about tying what's going on with the web with the power that you have in your desktop or in your laptop, and that's available in X5. The other things that we added that I talk about are PDF tools to allow you, and I mentioned nuanced PaperPort. We've bundled that in as well to allow you to do collaboration with other users and light editing of the PDFs that you might have as well. And I'll lastly mention sort of the classic features if you're new to WordPerfect Office and haven't used it before. Things like reveal codes, which will basically allow you to provide exact and specific and precise formatting to your documents to give it the look that you want, is available, and that's a long-time user favorite inside of WordPerfect. So if you've never used it, talk to some of your users or some of your customers that may have used it before. That's a big runner for us in terms of the suite that people love. Make it fit where, you know, if you have 2 pages of writing and you want to make it to fit to 1 page in a snap, it's basically one push button effort to get it there. And then the perfect expert that allows a new user to be successful with the suite right away. That's something that's been in the suite that I'd highlight to someone who's new to the suite as well. So that's sort of the second area where it's more than a page. The third, in terms of more tools, there's a couple things we've done inside of the suite to make it easier for people who have been on the suite for a couple versions to migrate to the latest version, including macro work and making it easier for third parties to be able to write their plugins to WordPerfect Office. And then there's a whole PDF side, which I've sort of mentioned before, but I'll probably take a step back before the demo to talk about nuanced PaperPort 12. It's a tool that not only provides some document management capability where you're able to get documents and use PaperPort to sort of manage them inside of your workflow and be able to light edit PDFs, but it also provides scanner integration. So basically you can take your whole enterprise or small enterprise digital. So you're able to scan documents in, have them digitally available to you, and then use them inside of this PaperPort interface to be able to work with others. And I probably haven't done it justice, so I'll wait for the demo to probably add some more color to it as well. Other things, new email client. So I said in some versions we have an email client. We used to have a proprietary client called WordPerfect Mail. What we've done is gone more open source and into the open source community, because we saw Thunderbird, which is based on Mozilla, or it's a Mozilla product. Thunderbird is an open source email client, and we've built on top of that some capabilities to not only provide calendaring, but also integration with WordPerfect and the address book itself. So we have a sort of an integrated solution that will allow users to use their email and create documents that they can send to others through their email, and it's based on a best-of-breed client, Thunderbird. And the reason we did that is our own client wasn't getting the traction we wanted. What we found is, you know, I think it was 14% of our consumers and 18% of our SMBs were already using Thunderbird, and it's a pretty widely distributed client. We thought, since it's moving so well forward in terms of technology and capabilities, we'd pull that into the suite and add the enhancements that our customers said they needed, including the calendaring and the integration with WordPerfect. So very excited about that as well. Fourth thing is we totally revamped our help and documentation for users to be able to find the information and help that they need when they need it, and that's the reference center, which we'll show in the demo as well. Final area is just on value. So just being the right price. So if you're a smaller enterprise, you're probably only buying licenses. But as you scale up an enterprise, you're not only getting bit by the license cost of Microsoft, but you're also getting bit by software assurance and a few other things. We don't sort of nickel for all those things. It's really a license cost, and we're definitely very generous in terms of requirements to be able to buy the upgrade versus the full product. So that's something I'd emphasize with customers all the time. With that, that's the end of my slide portion of the show. I'll pass it over to Evelyn now for the demo. I will stop if we'd like here and take any questions before we go forward with that, and let Evelyn get set up. If there are none. Okay,
folks. Hi, folks. This is Don from Lifeboat again. I know that we had a little bit of scratchy audio there at the start, but that seems to be fixed now. As Jay said, if you do have questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat window, and we will answer anything that you have. Evelyn, when you're ready, you can take it away.
All right, so hang in with me, guys. I'm going to share my desktop. I'm afraid to move the phone, so I'm going to talk into it. So what I'm going to do is, right now, I'm going to share my desktop. And what I'd like to do is actually show you kind of what Jay's talking about. Some of the big ticket items for a lot of consumers is making sure that you can work with other files, obviously with Microsoft files. So I want to talk about compatibility and show you some examples. As well as we'll talk a bit about some of the integration that Jay mentioned with document management and so on, as well as PDF. Because as much as we tout WordPerfect as an Office suite, it's also essentially a PDF Office suite as well, with the capabilities of being able to open, edit, create PDFs, really kind of expands the amount of work that you can get done in the Office without having to purchase all the extra pieces of software. So right now you should be looking at WordPerfect X5, and this is the launch screen that you see when you first time you launch the application. One of the things we took a look at is, again, not everyone comes out of school knowing WordPerfect or Word, so whatever it is your experience is, making sure that you can use the tools very, very quickly. So in this Workspace Manager, you'll notice if I choose a Microsoft Word mode, what happens is it actually will essentially refresh the UI so that shortcut keys that you're familiar with in Word are the same in WordPerfect. Location of similar tools are going to be in the same types of menus, so you don't have to hunt and peck for things. It'll just be where you kind of naturally expect them to be. It also does a couple of extra things here. Jay was mentioning the Perfect Expert, and you'll see that panel. It's on the far left, and essentially it's a context-sensitive help guide. So rather than animations that pop up asking the obvious, are you writing a letter, we actually give you access to the tool that you need to do that work. So in this case, if I just wanted to type in some text, type in a little bit of text and maybe add in a short table. Let me just add in a little table here. I'm just using the main property bar to do that. You'll notice that the Perfect Expert actually updates on the fly. So now because my cursor is inside of a table, it's showing me help for how to use those tables, how to access those editing features. If I move my cursor back up to the very first line where there's just simple text, again, you'll notice that not just the Perfect Expert updates, but if you take a look right above, that property bar updates as well. So essentially, rather than you having to find the tools, we present the tools for you when you need them. Okay? Just one example. The other thing you're seeing is a compatibility toolbar. So I have this little floating toolbar at the top. And again, that's just allowing folks to have easy access to things like templates, perhaps saving something as a Word document. So for instance, you know you're going to be sharing out as a .doc format, making sure that's like one-click easy to do. And of course, things like conversion tools and publishing to, say, PDF, XML, HTML. Probably, though, I think the most important part of this compatibility toolbar is the help. So sometimes you get users with very, very specific questions. Well, if I open the Word document that has this and this and this, what is WordPerfect going to do to it? Or the other way around. Well, that help guide actually gets right down into the nitty-gritty of exactly how you can work and collaborate with others, sharing documents, converting between different file formats, what the tools in WordPerfect are called compared to, say, Microsoft Word. So comparing features. So again, there's a lot of information in there. There's kind of no accidents on how documents get converted back and forth. We're going to lay that out for everyone to take a look at. It kind of leads me into compatibility. So what I thought I would do is rather than say everything's compatible and now you can open up all sorts of files, I would actually do it and let you guys see back and forth kind of the way that different word processors work and how we handle Word files. So what I'm going to do is, actually let me change back to my old workspace, WordPerfect, because I kind of like that workspace, just saying. And what I'm going to do is I have a docx file. And I'm going to open it up in Word first, so you can see it in its native format here. So we're opening up in Microsoft Word 2007, and I'm going to shove that over to the side of my screen. Now I'm going to take the same file, and I want to open it up. I'm just going to be lazy. I'm just going to right-click on it. We can open it up right through WordPerfect, but to save myself a step, I'm going to open with WordPerfect X5. So it's already open once. It's converting it right now. And let me shove that over so we can take a little look back and forth. So I want to make sure that the view is the same. So we're going to zoom in page to page. You guys can kind of compare back and forth. One page, okay? So again, formatting, paragraphs, the table format that we have here, graphics and so on come back and forth. The only differences that you're really seeing in the WordPerfect side, we're actually seeing I have the margin view turned on. I can see where paragraph and tab changes have been made. I have a little icon on the side telling me where to expect changes in the formatting. But what I wanted to also point out is just like we were using the Perfect Expert, which was context sensitive, so tools will be presented when you need them. Same thing applies here in this view. So WordPerfect, if I click in a paragraph, I have text editing options. If I click down below towards the bottom half of the page, you'll see there's a table, or sorry, a bulleted list. When I click in that, you'll notice that my options changed in that toolbar. If I choose the graphic, the options again change on that property bar. The same can't be said in say, Microsoft Word, where if I click in a paragraph, my ribbon shows me the same options as when I'm in a table or when I'm in a graphic. I have to go find those editing options. It's not as kind of in your face as WordPerfect is. So again, just kind of a key difference is that we want you to be able to get done the document you're working on and get back to the rest of your day. So that's Word and WordPerfect. I'm going to close this file out because Jay was mentioning again, it's a full Office suite of tools. So again, let's look at an example of a spreadsheet. So most of us, whether we like it or not, deal with spreadsheets in some form or another. This is an Excel worksheet I'm going to open up in Excel. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open up the same file again, just like before, with Quattro Pro, because again, Quattro Pro is compatible with Excel. So my lazy method is just to right-click on the file and say Open With. I'm going to choose Open With Quattro Pro X5. And it'll go ahead and convert that file. It is obviously read-only because I have it open already. And let's just shove that over to the other side of my screen, and we'll take a look back and forth. So again, the content has all been brought over. In this case, the cell background, the layout, everything's kind of where I left it. You'll even notice that in the Quattro Pro side, those formulas that were in the Excel document have been brought over and are available for editing. We also have little icons. You'll notice there's a little blue triangle, so it tells me right away that there's a formula in that cell. I don't have to, like in Excel, hover over and kind of assume that that's a formula and figure out which ones are and which ones aren't. So again, a lot more kind of in your face with the kind of editing, the tools, the options that are available as well between the two. Now, opening it is one thing. Of course, we want to be able to save out as well. So any changes I make to this Quattro Pro file and WordPerfect and in presentations, I can choose to file, and I can save as. Let me show you some of the options here. So the file formats that are available, there are a lot. We're not going to go into all these. In fact, I haven't even tried all these applications. But just being able to go in, and again, here is Excel 2007. So if you want to open up a native format from Word or Excel, you can also save back to that format and share it that way, or then edit in another application. It's up to you. We just want to make sure that you can get the work done and that you're not living in a little file format bubble and, you know, it's what you get, you know, send it in, send it out, get your job done. It's kind of the key here. How we live our lives at Corel, right? Okay, so that's enough on spreadsheets because as exciting as they are, they're still spreadsheets. All right. So let's talk about slideshows. And we're going to open up a PowerPoint because I know I sound honest, but I'd rather you guys see this stuff in action. So here is a PowerPoint file. And again, same deal. We're going to shove it over to one side, and I'm going to open up the same file in Corel Presentations. Okay. Let's compare apples and apples. Well, we're going to shove that over to one side so we can take a look at both of these guys. All right. And same deal here. So as I click on items, again, I'll get different options in the property bar. So as you're working, the view is a little bit different. What I have here are my slides are available on tabs at the bottom. So I can click through. Let's go to slide 2 on both of these. Take a look. Again, I can save this out as a show and go, which is a portable presentation file. I can also save it back out to a PowerPoint. One of the really nice things, though, that we don't always talk about enough, I think, is that presentations really give you additional ways to share those visual slide decks or presentations that you want to make. When you go to the File menu in Presentations, we can publish to PDF, which is kind of a given for us for all of our applications, but we can also publish to the Internet. One of the options that you're available to do is you can actually create either graphics from the presentation, so basically create the HTML for you so you can have your slide deck available that way, or also the Flash animation. So there's a lot of options, whether it's just print or online or however you want to share that content. There's a lot of options available in the WordPerfect Office suite itself. All right, that's enough about that. Let's just say we are compatible and agree on that. Otherwise, I have to, show you 15,000 more files, and then it doesn't get that exciting. All right. So I want to talk about PDF. So back in WordPerfect, let me bring this back up here, and I'm going to maximize that. And we'll close some of these extra files so I don't get confused, because that happens. I know. All right. So with WordPerfect, we have the ability to save and publish out to PDF. So I can, right down here, publish to PDF. Of course, it helps to have something in your document first. Okay. Publish to PDF. But one of the big enhancements right now is that we have built-in OCR technology. So optical character recognition. Quite often what happens, and let me open up a PDF as an example. I'm going to open up a PDF in 2 ways. We're going to open up this one in Reader, and this is just an example PDF where it was actually created in another application, and the fonts were all preserved. So you'll notice I can actually select fonts in here, and I can copy and paste those. There's a graphics I can work with. So these pieces, of course, can be opened up in WordPerfect and edited. Often what happens, though, is that people will print something, or it's scanned at a scanner and converted to PDF, and essentially the entire document is a picture. So the character information, the text information is lost. To edit that, you have to essentially use OCR technology, some sort of piece of software that will scan and recognize those characters to turn them into something you can actually edit. Or you get to spend your day retyping, which is really, really fun. So this example is one we're going to open up. This is a scanned PDF. I'm going to open up in Reader first so you can take a look at it. And if I tried to select that and copy that text, I can't. Essentially, it's one giant image. So you're either retyping it or you're using another piece of software to kind of figure out what the text was and convert it for you. If I open the same file up in WordPerfect, so let's go File and File Open. And that's going to take me forever, so we're going to do the lazy method. I'm going to right-click on that same scanned file. Now remember, it is open in Adobe Reader. I'm going to open it up with WordPerfect X5, so it is read-only right now, but this is the screen I get. So I have the option to not do anything to it. I can bring it in as it is, that PDF, without any formatting. I can choose to have it auto-recognize text. I can have it not recognize text and images. So you can kind of define what you want brought in from that image or from that PDF file. And I'm just going to say, leave it as is, and we're going to say open. So right now it's determining what the characters are, it's converting them to text that you can edit, and it's trying to also create that layout, recreate that layout for you so that your formatting time won't take as much. Now I'm going to say okay, and this is the important part. Make sure that you take a look because not every image is perfect. All of us have scanned something that's crooked. We've all had, coffee stains on stuff, so really the quality of the image is going to make a difference. And so what I always suggest is just take it down to look. So right now, if I select this text, I can edit it. We're going to change, let's say, change the really complicated. Let's make it 2010. You'll notice that the formatting is a little funny right around here. Everything else seems to be pretty good if I scroll down. Paragraph, text, all of that kind of stuff is in there. But if I take you back to the original PDF, take a look at this little guy right here. It's actually an ink stamp. It was never originally typed text. It's an ink stamp and it's crooked. So WordPerfect figured out what all the characters were and tried to recreate that same layout, even though it was crooked. So when I look at WordPerfect, it brought in actually what I asked for, but the formatting is a little funny. And this is where you do one of these things. Okay, 641, that's not right. Why is my cursor huge? You delete a couple more things. This is where WordPerfect kicks ass, is the reveal codes. Reveal codes allows you to get inside that document. So if you're a web designer, a web browser, a web editor, you know that at some point you need to get into that HTML code. You need to be able to control how that information is displayed. In WordPerfect, we have something called reveal codes. So if I open that up, you'll see, and to someone who's not used to looking at it, I know it looks like a lot of information, but it's telling you inside the guts of that document exactly what formatting has been applied, what tags are, where they are, and in this case, I can see that it tried to format that text so it looked like a crooked ink stamp, which is great, but I don't need it. So I'm going to click those codes and drag them right out to delete them. And you'll notice all of the formatting has been updated in my document. So this is one of the, maybe it's not always, reveal codes, it's actually incredibly powerful and not something that I've found in any other application for word processing, to allow you to get right inside the guts of that document and have full control over it. So again, that's one of the main drivers for WordPerfect folks not wanting to give up WordPerfect. It's because they have that level of control that they can't have in any other application. That's reveal codes, that PDF. There's a couple other things I'm just going to point out quickly for you guys, just to show you where they are. Jay was mentioning integration with SharePoint. Again, that was a big request from customers, again, being able to work with documents and not have to go through those extra steps of saving a file separately and then uploading it to a shared space. In the File menu, we've added an option called Document Management. So under Document Management, you can go right through here, through WordPerfect, check in, check out your documents, do version compare, and so on. So again, one less step, integrated into WordPerfect, just to allow you to work with those documents. There is one other thing I like to show, which is redaction. Redaction, again, is just there for document sensitivity. And the reason I like to mention it is because it's topical right now with something like WikiLeaks, where documents have been released with sensitive information left in them. Redaction is found under the Tools menu. And redaction is basically like taking a permanent black marker and digitally removing sensitive information. So if I want to mark something for redaction, it's much like, think of it like a highlighter, only it's a black marker. So this is my original document. It's put a gray outline on that, so I can still keep my original, but when I want to share this document or have it distributed in any other way, back under the Tools menu, under Redaction, I can create a redacted document, and I have the choice of what format. So even if I create that as a PDF file, for instance, please confirm you've done your job, remove the document, the information, credit card numbers, those kinds of things that you don't want let out. It's going to save that file, and I'm going to put it on the desktop so I don't lose it. Put it on the desktop, save, okay? And we're going to open up that PDF. And this information, it's replaced it with enough space so that the layout of the document hasn't changed. But if I try and copy and paste that or grab the information, let me just copy that. And we're going to paste it somewhere. Let's just throw a new document out here. We're going to paste it. That's what I get. I get nothing. Even if I try and go with my fancy reveal codes, nothing. So again, just another way of protecting yourself. And again, another feature that's built in into WordPerfect. So a lot of stuff. One other thing, just Jay was mentioning the Reference Center. Reference Center, I'm going to go to my Start menu and just show you the applications that are actually installed as part of the suite itself. So here we have, come down, I've got a lot of stuff installed. WordPerfect Office X5. Okay, so presentations, Quattro Pro, WordPerfect Lightning, which we didn't even talk about, but a digital note-taking application, and of course the Reference Center. So sometimes you don't know what you don't know, so we'll make sure that you guys have all the resources available in an easy to kind of navigate way. So whether it's application information, writing tools, tips and tricks, utilities, you name it, everything's kind of in there and there for you to kind of make use of. Is there anything else, Jay, that you wanted me to mention?
I think you covered most of them.
Oh, there is, yes, thank you. PaperPort. This has become my new best friend, actually. So WordPerfect allows you to bring in a PDF file, has built-in OCR scanning. PaperPort has something similar as well, so that you can take really any document, and it also has OCR technology. So for instance, if I had a scanned spreadsheet and wanted to be able to pull some of the information in, I can use PaperPort to do that and send it to another application. I'm going to show you my copy of it, which may or may not be demo-friendly. So we'll show you what's in here. But what I really like about PaperPort, and the reason I'm not going to show you all of it is because it's my expenses, okay, is that you can actually use it to organize, oh, what the heck, okay, here we go. I'm not opening all of it, I promise. Where's my expenses? All right, so this is how I started using it. Okay, so you're all going to see my team lunch. You guys ready? I know, crazy information. But what I've done is I've actually taken scans. So this document here, this is my little scan. I'm going to right-click, and I'm actually going to unstack this page. So this I did this morning. This little guy right here, I scanned at our local printer. We had lunch. It was great. I had to expense it. So again, it's a crooked scan. What's really handy about this is, though, within PaperPort, I can start doing annotations on it. So my finance folks love me because I make gratuitous notes on everything. I can choose to straighten, to rotate, so again, enhance the quality of the scan. So for instance, if I'm going to bring something into WordPerfect to convert from PDF, I want to make sure it's going to have the best quality possible. If I need to adjust things like, if it's a very gray kind of turnout, if I want to make it really the text pop, I can change how white the white is or how black the black is. Sharpen, again, scans as well. So in some cases, garbage in, garbage out. You want to make sure you have high quality going in to get the best result coming out. The other thing that's handy is at the top here you'll see annotation. So I can add highlights to this. I've done quite a few of these notes where I say, it was yummy, finance folks. Highlighters, again, pencils. I had a coupon, we're all good. So you can do a lot of this, and the great thing is it travels with that document now. So all of those annotations, those notes that I've made, I can combine PDFs together, really, really make it so much easier to really kind of manage my documents, and makes my other teammates very happy that they don't have to do extra work. Thanks, Jay. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. So we're perfect, and I've talked a lot. So what I'll do is stop sharing my desktop now, and stop sharing my desktop, and we're going to be back in our window.
Thanks, Ellen. That was great. I mean, you covered, just to recap, I think the big things that I was trying to hit was on compatibility, so OS and with other Office suites, new features, especially tied to the web. We talked to them a little bit more inside of WordPerfect Office. The other tools, we talked, well, we just showed you a bit of PaperPort, again, bundled in for free with WordPerfect, but there's other tools that we didn't go through, like Thunderbird Mail, Lightning, which is a digital notebook, which if you haven't tried, I would totally suggest it because it is a good way to keep your life organized because it helps do it for me. All those tools are inside of WordPerfect, and then finally the whole value thing, which you can't show in a demo, but I can talk to being, you know, up to 60% less of what Microsoft is in the marketplace now. And, you know, as people are moving more to Win 7, especially with constrained economic times, people are looking for alternatives to their Office suite. And you know, we've been successful not only selling to customers WordPerfect itself, but also selling to customers a mix of seats of, you know, Microsoft Office as well as WordPerfect, and potentially displacing other Microsoft suites or seats, or even Adobe seats for the PDF functionality, being able to open PDFs. And Evelyn showed you opening a scanned PDF. We'll also open just general PDFs that don't have scans in them and bring them into your word processor for you, so you're able to create new PDFs out of it as well. So that's a lot of, I think you covered a lot of it. So with that, I just will end the demo there and pass it back to you, Kristen.
Sure. You want to?
I'll talk to it. I talked to a little bit before. It's you know, for existing customers, because of the familiarity and the power, ease of use that we showed you a little bit about today. You know, if you do have a WordPerfect client, they know about the suite and the enhancements. The feedback I'm hearing from the market is they're very well received. So encourage you to reach out to those folks. To the new folks, as I just mentioned, it could be, you know, reduction of seats of other stuff, just as an alternative at a lower price, ways to collaborate more easily with others, or just the great features. And now I'll pass it.
Okay, you're ready for me. I just want to thank Jay and Evelyn for leading the session today and helping communicate WordPerfect's positioning in the marketplace. Definitely doing a fantastic job of showcasing all of the feature-rich functionality of the application. So I hope that you're all jazzed and excited to get out there and start selling WordPerfect. So to further support your initiatives, I'd like to extend this December buy and win. I've outlined the promotion there. Essentially, what we're looking for is a nice bump in shrink-wrap sales this month. And to help you do that, we'll pay you back a nice cash compensation. So you buy in between, I've created the levels there for you. You have my contact information, so we can work together with Lifeboat on any initiatives or opportunities that you foresee this month. In addition to shrink wrap, I also support the licensing business. So if there are some volume opportunities that you want to discuss, I'm more than happy to schedule some time with each of you on the line. All right. So having said that, any questions at this point?
Christina, this is Don on the line again. I don't see any questions at the moment, but folks, if you do have any, feel free to enter them now, and we'll get to them before we wrap this up at the end. I will let you know that we will send that information about that sales incentive out to all of you, so that you can keep that in the top of your mind and go out and do a great job selling WordPerfect. So let me just switch things around here quickly. I want to thank you, Jay, and Christina, and Evelyn. That was a great presentation. It really showed the power of the WordPerfect Office suite with all its compatibility and other unique features. But before we conclude, I want to get to our traditional call to action. So what we would like to encourage you all to do is to get more information is, for one, to visit the Corel website. At the Corel website, you'll find not only tons of information on the products, there are trial versions of the software up there, and you can find a lot of information about Corel's partner program on their website. Speaking to that point, also please feel free to contact Christina. Christina will be happy to talk to you more about Corel, their channel partner program, and give you any help you need selling Corel software. And of course, as always, you can contact your Lifeboat distribution representative. My name is shown here, but certainly feel free to reach out to your individual Lifeboat sales executives. We can help you to schedule one-on-one demos with Corel. We can help you with downloading trial versions of the software. We can really give you help with any opportunity, put you on the phone with Christina or anyone from Corel to help you grow your deals and increase your business, and in general, provide you with pricing and pre-sales assistance. So I hope you all found today's presentation valuable. Corel, I want to tell you, is truly a great company to partner with. They have a superb team that's ready, willing, and able to help you grow your deals in your business. So I do encourage you to spread the good news about Corel WordPerfect Office to your customers and to take advantage of this December incentive. One more look for questions. I don't see anything here right now, but if you think of anything, feel free to reach out to me later on. We will get back to you promptly with answers to anything that you have questions about. But for now, for everyone here at Lifeboat Distribution and Corel, thank you for attending today's webinar. We hope to hear from each of you really soon. But thank you and have a great day.